teachers, lovely teachers. Great to see you, although I'm not seeing many of you.
Hello, Mr. Muhammad. How are you
Oh,
doing?
hey, Ashraf. Long time no
Hello,
see.
Aya. How are
Hi.
you doing?
Fantastic, fantastic.
Great.
Hello,
Great to see
everyone.
you.
Hi. Okay. So there will be people popping in, I think, over the next few minutes, but we should get started. So my name is Mohammed Umi. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Director of English for Africa. We are a teacher training center located in Morocco, which is one of the many lovely countries in the world. If you're not in Morocco, your country is lovely too. We're all lovely countries. The reason we're here together is to have a good time. No, that's another webinar. No, this webinar is to talk about the IELTS, and particularly the IELTS teacher training course. So Aya Butter, who is also a CELTA tutor, and she works sometimes for English for Africa. We'd love for you to work more for us more, Aya, to be honest, but soon.
Yes, same here.
Yeah. So Aya is an IELTS specialist, and she will be running our How to Teach IELTS course. This is a very special course. It's a new format. It's one that has not been tried often in the past. It's very hands-on. It's very extensive. It's 120 hours, and it includes optional teaching practice with feedback from Aya. So I'm going to pass the floor to Aya so that she can talk more about the course and, of course, eventually answer your questions. And later on, if you have questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them as well. Aya, here
Right.
you go. It's all to you. I'm going to make you
All right.
co-host.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So, hi everyone again. Please, if you could have your camera open, that would be really, really nice to see you. If not, then all right. But thank you, Ashraf, anyway, for having it open. That's nice. It's nice not to feel very lonely, you see people here, so it's nice to see that. Very good. Okay, very good. So I'm not going to add anything to what Muhammad said. I work as a CELTA tutor. I sometimes work with English for Africa. Sometimes I get busy and it doesn't happen, but I'm trying to do that more often. I also work as a freelance teacher trainer at the British Council, and I am the founder and academic director of Teachers College. And this is how we got this collaboration to present this course to you. So what are we going to do today? The first thing is we're going to get to know me, and we already did that. So let's not do this anymore. We already did it. And then we're going to think about the challenges that face teachers when teaching IELTS, also the learner's needs, and how to cater for those needs. And then eventually we're going to see how the course provides for all those needs or supports all those needs. All right. So let's go directly to that. So what you see in front of you, I know it's a bit long, right? But it's a complaint from a candidate who attended an IELTS course with a teacher. All right. That teacher did her best, but ended up making some mistakes. All right. Now I want you to read it very quickly and try to find what mistakes she made. So you've got like 2 minutes. All right. And I underlined the mistakes for you. So just see what they're about. Please let me know when you're done. All right, excellent. So, please feel free to open your mic and just raise your hand first and tell me, what do you think the first mistake is? All right. If you're speaking about the email itself, then the person who wrote it is a student, right? But I want you to focus on the ideas that the candidate spoke about or the problems that he described. So let me help you with the first one. Here, he complains that the teacher promised that they will be able to get school band 9 in the exam, and obviously this did not happen. So what did the teacher do wrong? Anyone, you can unmute and say, or you can just type it in a chat box.
The tutor promised a specific result.
Yeah, so that's simply it, right? So again, will she be the one marking the test? Does she know what's gonna come in the test? Right? Yeah. So you can't promise what you can't give. That's the first thing. And this is a mistake that happens all the time, especially when you are, marketing for your own course. You want people to join your course, so you start giving them promises. So make sure that the promises that you give, you can keep. So that's the first mistake. So it's very important to stay realistic, all right? Now, the second thing, it was obvious that she didn't know enough about the test. So, for example, the student said, should we write using a pen or a pencil? She didn't know. Or can I take the test online? And she didn't know. So that would be the second mistake here. All right. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? I mean, teaching IELTS is a really nice business, right? It's good to start teaching IELTS because you can make more money, and it's good. It looks good in your resume if you teach IELTS. That's a plus, and that's why a lot of people try to do this. But it's very important to know enough about it before you start, delivering it to people, because you'll get questions. Now, the third one, she didn't provide feedback on tasks. Can you think of reasons why this happened?
Possibly the course wasn't designed in such a way to allow for feedback to be provided. A lot of courses are simply lecture-based with a couple of interactive activities.
That's one thing. Yes. Yes,
maybe,
go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Or maybe she's not professional enough to give feedback, as it knows for teachers, like professional teachers always give constructive feedback, and students, especially in this kind of courses, all the trainees always expect constructive feedback to know where their weaknesses are, the area on which they can work more. I think that's the reason.
Okay, I agree. Very good. Let's go to teacher. I have P. Help me pronounce your name, please. I don't know if you can. Yes. Hello. Yes, I think I can hear you. Hello.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. No problem. No problem. So I think Ashraf was raising his hand. So please go ahead.
Yeah, so maybe it's just the approach of the teacher is too teacher-centered. So so the course is not student-centered enough.
Yes, I agree. That's also another one. And yes, exactly. I agree that maybe she doesn't know how to give feedback. All right. Or she has some other problems. All right. Or she doesn't know how to evaluate the tasks. Could be. That's another thing. Like Abdul Majid, yes, I agree. Maybe she's not aware of the IELTS. How to give feedback and so on. And some teachers, they know how to give feedback, but they just don't know how important or how valuable it is. Right? I think Ashraf, you're raising your hand again, or that was an okay. Let's go to one more. Found myself correcting my teacher's pronunciation. That's bad, right? So can anyone teach IELTS, or you need to have, a higher level than your students? I
think it's a must to have a higher level than your students.
Yes.
I think pronunciation it's a part of the IELTS exam that student might be like go on through tasks on pronunciation. I still don't have enough information about what's the part of the IELTS exam really are, but I think students come in to the IELTS exam, they are expecting to have someone who is really professional, have like a higher level of pronunciation, so they can feel safe, and expect to learn more.
Thank you. Exactly. So yes, pronunciation is assessed on the IELTS course, on the IELTS test, because in the last section of the test, you have speaking, and pronunciation is one of the assessment criteria. So it is very important. And also sometimes you need to have this awareness of phonology and pronunciation, how to help the students better decode the listening. So it doesn't only help with the speaking, but it also helps with the listening. And as you said, learners' expectations. When the learners go to an IELTS course, they expect the teacher to be very strong. And what I meant here by level, I meant the teacher's language level, because we're speaking here, some teachers are native speakers, but we have a lot of non-native teachers as well, right? So we need to maintain or to keep working on our language. All right, I didn't get the chance to practice speaking with my classmates. So another problem here, it seems like she was not. All right, very good. So Abdul Nasser, please go ahead.
I guess that the professor didn't wire his students to collaborate more and cooperate with each other.
Okay, that's one thing. All right, Faisal.
I think speaking with a peer is a part of collaborative work or fall under the umbrella of communicative approach inside the classroom. And peer teaching, it's one of the pillar of a successful class. And if a teacher does not give the opportunity to students to collaborate with each other, learn from each other, it does not give them a natural setting to practice the language as it should be.
Thank you. Yes. So the first thing is like this setting to practice the language. That's one thing. And the other thing, I mean, you have the classroom. It's an opportunity for you to simulate the IELTS speaking exam. You need to get the students to experience how the exam is going to be like, to have this kind of simulation, so that when you go to the exam, they're kind of familiar with it. Yes, things happen and people get nervous and so on, but at least they are prepared well enough so that even when they're nervous, they can still perform. All right, they can still answer the questions and so on. All right, very good. So taking a look at this, of course, I mean, if a teacher had all these mistakes in one course, yes, we're human beings, we make mistakes, it's okay. But this number of mistakes, that was a very bad course, right? So now we're going to go from there to think about the teacher's needs. What we need as teachers to be able to teach IELTS classes. So the first thing, I think we already got it, the general information about the test itself. So how long the test is, the different sections, the marks, and for example, the number of questions, the order of the questions, and the order of the task of the sections. Are you going to take the whole test on one day or 2 different days? You take it, or you can go in person and sit the test, or are you going to, have the computerized version? So all those things the teacher should know, all right? Now, the other thing, which is equivalent exams. So sometimes you might get a candidate who would say, I want to apply for a university, but I don't know which test to take. I need to show them evidence that my language is good. So you do and choose something that would suit the student. All right. And then an appropriate level of language, of course. And I didn't say B2 or C1. I didn't specify C1 or C2, for example. Why? All right, I'll just answer my question myself first, can increase in my TTT. So let's go for this one. So the reason is sometimes people don't need to get really high bands. Yes, go for it, Faisal or Faisal. How do you like your name to be pronounced? Is it Faisal or?
The same, Faisal or Faisal, they are the same.
All right, cool.
I think being too specific on the level, it might intimidate the student who might take the. If I didn't get your question.
Here
right?
we're mainly speaking about the teacher's level.
Okay, sorry.
No problem, no problem. Mm-hmm. So
I think an appropriate level of language will surely add more credibility to the teacher, for sure.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And there will be more trust from the part of the student that this is the appropriate place where I'm going to, learn what we need. I think that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And very good. I'll add to this that sometimes as a teacher, you don't have to teach people who always want to get band 7 or band 8. Sometimes you have people who just want to get band 5.5 or 6. Those are people applying for jobs that do not require them to, communicate with others a lot. All right. So in the requirements, so this is why it's very important before you start, designing the course, you need to ask the student, why are you traveling? Why do you need the test? Are you traveling to study? So you would need it academic. Are you traveling just to, to have fun there and just stay there for some time? Then, okay, maybe the general one would be suitable. You need to communicate with the university to make sure that they accept the general format of the test, this or that. So it's very important to ask first to get that knowledge. All right. And also to know if the student's requirement is like, this student wants to get 8.5 or 8. And your awareness of your level, say, I don't think I would be able to help him. So this is when you can, give them some tips or just guide them through the process, but, not promise them something that you can't really give. Okay. Now, another thing, of course, suitable and effective teaching techniques. right? Because if you think that IELTS is all about giving the students some words to study and some grammatical structures to study, and then giving them tests or to practice and so on, that's not it. Because if you just give them a task to do, then you are testing their skills, not developing them. So that's why I need to have this kind of awareness. All right. Management skills. And I added this because when I started designing the How to Teach IELTS course, I did not design it for people to go work for others only. That's one option. But then the other option, if you wanted to start teaching your own classes, your own IELTS classes, so you need to have this kind of management skills to help you do that. Setting expectations. Remember the teacher when she said, you'll get band 9? So it is very important at the beginning of the course, you give the students a disclaimer, say, all right, guys, in this course, I'll do my best to help you get the score that you want. However, I do not guarantee the score because I'm not the one marking the test. It's not my job to do that, right? So you just help them and you show them that you're going to stick to your part, you're going to do your part, help them, provide tasks, provide feedback, and so on. And they also need to do their part because so many students have this misconception that when I go to a course, that's it. So you need to let them know that they have to do their part in order to achieve what they want. Okay. And then extra time for assessing students' productive work or skills. So you've noticed also the problem with the previous teacher, that she was struggling with feedback. She didn't provide feedback. So sometimes when we think about it, this is what we do. We say, all right, it's so for example, today we're telling you that the How to Teach IELTS course is a 120-hour course, right? This is to you. This is what you're going to get in your certificate. But for me as a tutor, I will work more. So when I'm planning for this course, I make sure that I have extra time to finish the tasks and to prepare the feedback and so on. So it is very important to acknowledge the amount of paperwork that you will have to do and add it to your plan. Okay, so if the course is a 30-hour course, it doesn't mean that you dedicate only 30 hours. You need to dedicate more than that. So that you can, stick to your word and honor it. All right, very good. Different ways of giving feedback, and that's another thing. So I think people who attended with me the previous session at EFA, again, so English for Africa, the previous session I was speaking about well-being. So as teachers, we are busy people. Okay, so I shouldn't prepare a written report for each feedback. No, sometimes you can just send the students the answer key. Sometimes you just give the students some notes. Sometimes you get the students to have this kind of peer check or peer feedback. So you vary the ways of giving feedback to avoid, this kind of stress. Okay, and also to help the students learn better. So from there, now I think we spoke enough about the teachers and what they need and the struggles that they might face. Now, let's not be selfish. Let's also think about the students. All right. So you have here 3 different candidates, and you have the profile of each one of them written. You just need to match each candidate to the problem that they have. You have 2 minutes. All right. Please let me know once you finish. Okay. So thank you. Let me now display the answers for you. So first one here, all right, so 1 to the second problem. So Ahmed to the second problem. And then we have here this one, Amal to the third problem. And then we have Susan's daughter to the first problem. All right. And tell me, is this how you got it? Or did you have different answers? Okay, excellent. Very good. So when we think about it, not all candidates are the same, and not all of them are trying to achieve the same things, and not all of them are facing the same struggles to get what they want. Okay, so sometimes the problem is with their language, sometimes it's their lack of awareness of the test, sometimes it's a mix of this and that, and so on. All right, so now let's think more positively and not just say that these are problems. So now we can think about it this way. So we have the students, right? And we have the problems that they're facing. Good. But let's change this or translate it into needs. So let's think about the problems that the students have as needs. And it's another matching exercise. So try to match the problems here to the needs. Are we done? Okay. All right. Excellent. So again, I'll show you the answers, but we're going also to discuss why. All right. So for the first one, is this how you got it? Or did you get a different answer? Okay, very good. So when we think about it, when we think about Ahmed here, so he took the test so many times, right? But he didn't get the score that he wanted in writing. All right, so every time when he took the writing section, he didn't get the score that he wanted. Okay. And the band that he wants to get is not very high. So when you think about it, what he really needs to do is to develop his exam skills, language skills, self-awareness, and motivation. But why did we add self-awareness and motivation here? Yes, go ahead, Ashraf. I can't hear you, please. Yes, unmute, please.
I think he needs self-awareness because he's got to know what he does wrong. So he needs feedback to know what he's doing wrong, because obviously he doesn't know.
Okay, very good. And why do we have motivation here?
Motivation because he failed many times, so he might get discouraged.
Yes, exactly. Very good. So it's very frustrating, right? I mean,
Yes.
sit and test many times and then not get in the band that you want. Thank you so much. All right. Now for the second one, let me just display again. And we have here this one. So again, this one. And the level is B2. That's good. And she needs 7.5, but it's academic, right? And she needs to get a job. So it seems like she is a teacher. Well, she is a teacher. She's an English teacher, but she doesn't know anything about the test. So of course you need to teach that student about the test itself, right? And also the exam skills, because having very good English doesn't mean that you'll be able to deal with the test. It's not enough, right? So you need to know which skills that you need to do to practice in a very fast manner. So for example, you need to read very quickly, you need to find the answers very, very quickly, right? And also language skills, especially that she says she wants to get 7.5 IELTS academic. So her English might be good in day-to-day conversations, but maybe she doesn't have enough lexical resource in the academic part, right? And we move to the last one here. So she's A2, right? So that needs a lot of work. So she doesn't know anything about the test. She doesn't know how to deal with the tasks. Her language is not very strong. And since she didn't prepare for the test before, then she needs to also be aware of her own level, aware of her own strengths and weaknesses, and how to manage herself. And this is something very important that we're going to discuss in a bit. And also she needs some motivation, because when we say A2, that's a long way, right, to sit for a test. So it's very important to tell the students that it's going to take some time, we're going to get there, so you need to just be disciplined. Okay. And self-management also is something that we really need to teach our students. A lot of the teachers rely heavily on having games and, getting the students to have fun and so on. But we also need to be aware that having fun is okay. It's a good part of learning and it helps people learn, but learning can't be fun all the time. Sometimes you need to sit, read long passages, do boring tasks just to develop or to improve yourself. So from that, as we said, we just think of problems not as problems, but more as needs that we should deal with. Okay. And when we think about designing a course, we need to be aware of those things here. So exam awareness in a test, or sorry, in a course, how can we familiarize the students with the test? Any ideas? It's very simple, something very, very easy. If I want someone to know what a test looks like or how a test looks like, thank you so much. Just show them some sample tests and discuss it with them. All right. So this is the first thing. Exam skills. How can we develop their exam skills? And when I say exam skills, it's like, finishing the tasks efficiently within the time allocated. So, and the techniques to deal with the task. All right. Zuhair, I agree with you. Also, criteria of assessment is very important for the first one. So exam skills, yes, practice. They need to practice the test and they need to be aware of the techniques that they can follow. All right, for each task. Okay. And useful tips. But even if we give them useful tips are everywhere. But what's very important is to practice using them. All right. So for example, we tell the students, should we read the text first or the task first? Which one should we do first, and so on. All right. We're going to, for example, look at the task first. But how? The how of it, how to do it, right? Good. Language skills. I mean, when we're preparing them for the test, the test goes this way. So we're listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Speaking could be on the same day or a different day. It could be before or after the written part. So it's not only developing their skills, it's also developing their language so that they can use the skills, right? So again, practice, tests, agreed. So language skills and language systems. So even if we're just preparing them to go to the test, read and do the tasks, listen and do the tasks, so on, we also need to develop their language. So when planning a course, we also need to think, so in this course, will I be able to do this? Or will I give it to the students? So will I be able to teach them grammar and vocabulary and functional language and all those? Or will I just design a self-study plan and follow with them, support them? All right. And then self-awareness. It's not just, you don't tell the student that this is wrong. You need to show the students this is wrong and why. And if they have some errors, especially fossilized errors, you need to tell them, you have a problem with this, we need to work on it, and so on. All right. But we can't keep the students in the dark. They need to know what they're dealing with, their strengths, their weaknesses, and so on. And this is here another misconception that teachers have. They think that motivation is all about, you're great, you rock, you can do the best, you are the best and all that. Motivation is not that. Motivation is, so you motivate the students, yes, but stay realistic and objective. So you tell them, all right, you have these strengths, but you also have these weaknesses that you need to work on. And then you discuss with them the best way that they need, that they can improve this or work on them. Self-management and motivation. So even if the course, if the IELTS preparation course is a 40-hour course or a 50-hour course, that's never enough. The students still need to practice, work on their own, do tasks. It's a lot of work. So they need to know how to manage themselves. One of the tips that I give my candidates all the time, when they say, we really hate the reading part. It's very long, we get bored just during the second passage and we're done with it, and so on. And I say, all right, guys, so it's very important for you to stop, checking social media. Because you need to start training your brain to deal with longer tasks, not just very short reels or videos and so on. So you need to kind of expand your span of attention. And this is self-management. They need to know that, all right, this is harming me. This is not helping me focus. Or this is making me get bored very easily. So that's something I can stop. Okay. And that's it. And with that, we also motivate them. All right. So using all the things that we discussed. So far we discussed the teacher's needs, all right, and the learner's needs and how we can cater for them, of course, very briefly. But now think about this. With all the things that we discussed, do you think that when you teach IELTS, you should only rely on a textbook or like tailor a course, or both, or why, and why, all of those? Which one do you think you'd prefer? Okay, go for it.
I
Yes,
think we can adapt the textbook based on their needs, like to tailor to adapt the tasks in the textbook.
Okay, that's one way. All right,
Mhm.
very good. So we
Yeah, maybe tailored courses because the needs differ from one person to another.
Okay, so very good. Other people are saying like Abdel Fattah here, he recommends like, or he would go for tailoring a course. Okay, very good. So that depends on so many factors. All right, so if you teach one-to-one courses, then you can tailor the course or adapt the materials, the book, for example. All right, but if you're teaching like a group, it is very difficult to tailor a course because maybe responding to the needs of one learner. All right, so that's why it's very important to know the learners that you're dealing with and then make the decision. Okay. So, and also it depends on how much time you have. So if you have enough time and you're good at preparing and designing materials, then go for it. Okay. Now, this is nice here because even if you decide, all right, I'm going to tailor the course or I'm going to design my own material and all that, of course, you're going to use some of the resources that you already have, some books, some websites, and so on. The good point is that in the course, in the How to Teach IELTS course that we provide, we tackle that point. We get the teachers to design their own materials. So when we move to teaching practice, we do not provide our teachers with a book and tell them, all right, now pick a part of it and teach it. No, that's not what we do. We give them a task from the test. That's it. And they design the complete lesson around it. And think about it. If you have this number of candidates in a course and each one designs 4 lessons, one for reading, one for writing, one for speaking, one for listening, and so on, then the amount of lessons that you would get would be huge. So maybe you would leave the course with a complete course to teach. All right. So now this would take us to the course itself and how it's like. So the first thing, it's 120-hour course. It's live, it's not recorded. You have 4 teaching practice. Each one is 45 minutes. Okay. After this, of course, you receive oral and written feedback. Throughout the course, you receive extra reading, like chapters from different books to read and to develop your knowledge, and you get some extra tasks. And all this part is related to teaching. All right. But we already discussed at the beginning of that session that teaching is not the whole thing about teaching IELTS. You also need the language part. And that's why regarding teaching and language, you have an extra self-study plan. And you would have the tutors following up with you. Okay. Now, why this course and what do we want to achieve? The first one is increase the awareness of the IELTS test. So think about this and how the course is designed. You're going to start with, of course, the orientation, something like this session, right? Knowing about the test itself. And then you're going to have input sessions on one of the sections, right? After the input sessions, you will have some extra tasks to design, some extra tasks to practice the test. And then you will have, after this, the teaching practice, which means that you would get the opportunity to learn all this and then apply it. While everybody is teaching the TPs, their colleagues or their peers on this course will also be observing. And they can also participate as students, which means that you would get to practice teaching, but also get some preparation while you're attending your friends' TPs. So I'd say with some studying, by the end of this course, you would also be able to go for the test yourself, right? So you'd be working on your teaching and also your skills as a candidate. Okay. And then the other part here is working on your knowledge on teaching skills. Because again, we said that we don't want to test the students' skills, we want to develop them. So we will make sure that in the input sessions, we provide them with, we provide you with enough techniques to know how to, you know, deal with this, how to teach this, how to help the students practice this skill the right way, and how to develop them. And of course, we spoke about the teach and practice with the feedback. The feedback, I can say, is very detailed. And it's, you know, you receive not one-to-one feedback because it's, you know, a meeting where we have the feedback and so on, but then you receive written feedback that suits your needs. You also have, you're going to design the materials for both standalone sessions and courses, because as we said, in the teach and practice, you do not receive a part from a book. What you get is, I don't know if you can hear me. Yes, what you get is a task in a test itself, and then you design your lesson around it. And the last thing, as we said also, your ability to sit for the test, and we're going to have some exam practice for you to do all this. So that's actually it. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Okay, that's very quiet. All right, thank you. All right, so the certificates are going to be from Teachers College and English for Africa. All right. Which is a plus because English for Africa is a CELTA center, so that's very prestigious. All right, and another thing from my own experience running this course only at Teachers College before this collaboration, the candidates who finished the course had no problem applying for jobs. So I'm just saying that even only the certificate of Teachers College was enough, but now you have the added benefit of a CELTA center. All right. Okay, any other questions? Thank you so much, everyone, for all the nice comments.
I'm gonna make a nice comment too. That was a great presentation, and if I had any like desire to teach IELTS myself, I would take the course. But I don't have any desire to teach IELTS. But it's great to do it, obviously, it's just not my thing. But the presentation was awesome. Thank you very much, Aya.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. So if you have no other questions, so I'll leave it to you, Mohammed.
Thanks, Aya. Thank you very much. So if you guys are interested in taking the course, you can contact us at English for Africa in a couple of different ways. So obviously this is a collaboration between Teachers College and English for Africa, which I didn't mention earlier on, but Teachers College is a rising star in the teacher training landscape across this part of the world. For this course, for this collaboration, English for Africa will be handling the administrative side of things. So you'll contact us to get information about the course dates, the prices, all the technical things that you'll need to sign on. You can reach us by sending us an email. I'll put the email into the chat box. And Shema, can you also type in our WhatsApp, please, if you're there? That's our email. And so Shema is one of our collaborators. Are you here, Shema? No, she's not. Well, then let's leave it at email then. You're interested in taking the course, email, or the WhatsApp group that you use to contact us, or that sent you the email, the link. If you got a link from WhatsApp, you can send your expression of interest to that WhatsApp link. There's a question here about times. So, Mr. Gupta, that will depend on your time zone. I don't know exactly what the time zone is in India. What would be best is for you to contact us afterwards, and I'll provide you with an answer to that question, okay? Yeah, so for this webinar, yes, we will give you an attendance certificate. Just make sure to say that you want one, okay? In other words, contact us, say, I want an attendance certificate, provide us with your name, and your zodiac sign, and your hair color. No, I'm kidding, just your name. That's good enough. And we'll give you a certificate. Yeah, by email, Nafa. That by email is fine. Like I said, you were sent the link by WhatsApp. You can also contact us by WhatsApp using the number that you got the link from. Okay, that's it. Have a great one, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.